Pocket.com.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, yeah, my first question is about the MGCQ debate. Sir, could we just know, did the
Sorry, Pia, na-cut off ang audio.
Ay, okay. Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Sir, we just want to know when in yung timing, sir, yung parang context ng decision ni Presidente, did he make his decision after listening to pandemic task force officials, or was his decision fully formed at the start of the cabinet meeting? And if the former, what piece of data or insight from a cabinet member convinced the President finally to reject MGCQ in March?
Well, sa start ng cabinet meeting, he was already saying na he is really considering na yung MGCQ will have to wait until the vaccination rollout. So parang yun na nga, yung statement niya, there's a time for everything, and what he wants to see is a vaccination rollout first. And once that's already being seen and felt on the ground and being made in actuality, then saka siya mag-decision about the MGCQ for the entire Philippines.
Okay, so it seems, sir, that he made his decision without even listening to the cabinet, maybe explain the need for yung shift to MGCQ. Although, of course, in previous meetings na-mention na rin yun. But sir, just to clarify siguro yung sinabi niya na we will shift to MGCQ when there's a vaccine rollout. Sir, can we get a more specific timeline? Because I think people also want to hear something more specific, like when during the vaccine rollout, when every Filipino has been vaccinated, when 50% of the population has been vaccinated, or siguro when certain priority sectors have been vaccinated. Do we have a more definite timeline for this?
Well, if we go by the procedure ng IATF, what we do is we make recommendations to the President before the start of the first day of the month. So, kumbaga, if we go by the procedure, every end of the month, that is when we discuss ano yung magiging recommendations namin kay Pangulo for that succeeding month. So siguro, in terms of timeline, perhaps that might be the same procedure that we will follow. So kumbaga, for the entire month of March, makikita natin ang rollout ng vaccination program. And then by the end of March, before the end of March, we will make our recommendations to the President. Of course, at any given point in time, the President may also make a decision with regard to MGCQ for the entire country at any given point in time for the month of within the month of March.
Okay, so sir, that doesn't really sound like a plan. It just sounds like every month you will assess the situation. But sir, do we have a target at least na parang if we say that we can vaccinate this many people a month, and then the President wants to see, for example, a significant impact of the vaccination, when do we expect to see this impact? I mean, like let's say 5 months after the start of the vaccination, then maybe that can be the target for any shift or any relaxation. Wala po bang ganung planning, more like forward-thinking planning instead of always relying on yung month-to-month assessments?
That's always been the practice natin. It's really a month-to-month assessment and a month-to-month decision. So nakasanayan na rin natin yung ganyang klaseng protocol and procedure. So we will stick to that procedure.
Sir, lastly, okay. Sir, did you have anything else?
That wasn't me. That was JV.
Hi, okay. Sir, last question. The President has said that he prefers the Sinopharm vaccine, but so far we haven't really heard anything concrete about this vaccine. I mean, it hasn't even applied for an EUA. Sir, may we know the status of Sinopharm applications to the country, and how come it hasn't been siguro that visible in the government's vaccination plan when we know that the President himself prefers the Sinopharm vaccine?
I will defer to the vaccine cluster to answer that particular question.
So sir, hindi na-bring up yung vaccination plan during the cabinet meeting?
Na-bring up, but again, na-bring up, napag-usapan naman during the cabinet. But again, with regard to your particular question, I will defer to the vaccine cluster.
Is the President holding anyone accountable for the delay in the vaccine arrivals?
sa well, alam mo, si Pangulo also understands na we are at the receiving end, no, of these vaccines. As much as we want to, and as practicable as possible, ginagawa naman po natin ang lahat ng kinakailangan natin based on the requirements being asked of us. But at the end of the day, it's really the vaccine manufacturers' obligation, responsibility to ship it to us at the time that was promised, no? But as far as we're concerned, lahat naman ng kailangan gawin at makomply ay nako-comply naman po natin. But we are at the receiving end.
So he blames the manufacturers, not the cabinet members, not Galvez.
Ginagawa natin ang lahat ng dapat at kailangan gawin as far as what is required of us and what is being asked of us in terms of compliance.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.